Hello, good evening to you and welcome to News 360. We are live from the News Hub at Asiedu-Dartey, Kanda. I'm Natalie Fort.
And my name is Alfred Okanse. Coming up in the bulletin tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
National Communications Authority sanctions 131 FM authorization holders for various infractions.
Roland Afel-Money re-elected president of Ghana Journalists Association.
Also, Institute of Democratic Governance reiterates calls for opening up of the local governance system to political parties.
Speaker of Parliament Professor Michael Koye suggests establishment of a West African Electoral Commission.
We've got the details of these stories for you here on News 360. We're streaming all across the world on 3news.com as well as TV3 Ghana on Facebook.
We go on to our first story this evening, and as you might be aware, it's just been told right there, Roland Afel-Money has been re-elected as president of the Ghana Journalists Association, and he's been delivering his victory speech at the press center, so to speak. One of the aspiring presidential candidates had questions earlier on, and we'll just do a quick recall to that, but just so you know, the results have just been declared, and the winner eventually declared by the Electoral Commission officers who oversaw the elections of the GJA. Just a few minutes ago, Roland Afel-Money has been re-elected to lead the GJA. Most journalists who cast their ballots earlier on in the day in the GJA elections at the press center also had a few thoughts to share about that election that just ended with Roland Afel-Money being re-elected. It's a few days ago described as the embattled GJA president. Sela Mamenya is my colleague at the press center where the elections took place here in the Greater Accra region, and we'll cross over to him now.
Had 186, Albert Jumfor had 312. For General Secretaryship, Edmond Kofi Yeboah had 251, and Dave Agbanu had 250. And we have here the man who won the presidency. I'm talking about Roland Afel-Money. We'll be going to speak to him shortly. But the one interesting thing is that the General Secretaryship, Edmond Kofi Yeboah, won by just one vote. And then,
well, so that's the live feed there from the GJA, that's specifically the International Press Center. Also declared or re-elected to lead the Inca fraternity for another term. He has been accused of selling the conscience of the GJA to the highest bidder a few weeks ago prior to this particular election, and this has indeed created some animosity among some journalists in this country. But the nationwide election, which was monitored here at TV3, indicated that there are some earlier indications of some issues that were raised by one of the presidential candidates. But let's cross over again to the International Press Center, where my colleague Sela Mamenya is engaging the re-elected Roland Afel-Money.
This underlines the fact that there are no perfect elections anywhere. Even in the citadel of democracy in the U.S., we had challenges which are still being contested. The recent election in Ghana also demonstrated the fact that perfection in every human institution is an impossible goal. But this is a small organization comparatively, with a small number of voters. And one didn't expect this huge anomaly to emerge. But I believe this does not obscure the fact that media workers have spoken, and they've spoken loud and clear, given the huge margin between the vote I garnered and what my closest opponents also had.
So going forward, you mentioned reforms in your acceptance speech. What immediate reforms should we expect as members of the association?
Our constitution now is bleeding profusely. Number one, from blatant violations of specific stipulations in that document. So our first step is to stand the blood flow contextually to amend the constitution. We have also unionized, and this imposes more pressure and responsibility on us. We need the structure which will respond to the challenges of unionization in order to change the profile of Ghanaian workers in this country. It is a huge mountain to climb, but I believe the media fraternity will support me, and we shall succeed. We have other challenges with unity, with divisions. So there's a need for us to build bridges of unity, reconciliation, and forgiveness. No, you have offended each other in the name of politics.
The atmosphere was poison ahead of the elections of today.
The spread of poison was incredible because people, I, for instance, was the target of that poisonous, or those poisonous attacks from some of the competitors and their supporters.
How did you take that?
I remain unflappable because as a leader, you should be able to show strong exterior, even in the face of difficulties, even in the face of adverse conditions.
Did you panic at any point in
Not
the run-up to this
at
election?
all. But by nature, I'm disinclined to be deflected by comments, adverse comments. So I maintained my cool, and I knew the good people or journalists who speak, and they have done.
Would you try bringing on board Mr. Lloyd and...
Sure, Lloyd has a key role to play in my administration. Ours is going to be an all-inclusive and not exclusive administration. Lloyd has made his name in the financial sector, and we need, and as I said, it's best repeating, that no one finger can wash the face according to my problem. I alone cannot do it. So I'll bring on board, I'll persuade them, and also forage for ideas from other sectors and other areas in order to build a better GJA.
Should we expect a GJA that's going to rub shoulders with, say, the Medical Association?
In view of the unique position we occupy in the democratic governance structure, you cannot compare Ghana Medical Association and GJA at all. So they are not our competitors.
We are all professionals, aren't we?
We are, but some are more professionals. But to quote my case, journalism is the best profession in the world, and not medicine, not law, not even priesthood. So as I said, we occupy a strategic position because we exercise oversight responsibility on other branches of governance. So we are unique, and there's a need for us to act in such a way as to reflect our unique nature in the government structure.
Would you change the way you've managed the association over the years? Should we expect some change in leadership from
It is said that change is an essential ally of progress. Whoever opposes change is an architect of decay. So we already started a change. We've changed our code of ethics. We've changed our constitution to reflect a new status of a union. So the change is ongoing, and change is a process and not a destination. So we continue, as I said, to forage for ideas, to seek support from all others, because no one person is a repository of wisdom.
Yeah, so journalism is the best profession in the world, and not medicine and nothing else. That's re-elected president of the GJA, Roland Afamani. That's live from the press center where the national election result was declared a few minutes ago.
An interesting quote by him there, saying that journalism is the best profession. Well, it's close.
Let's get it.
But still on this, most journalists who cast their ballot in the GJA elections at the International Press Center expressed satisfaction as the process, describing it as simple. Former president of the association, GJA Asiedu-Dartey, encouraged the incoming leadership to seek broader consultation to move the association forward.
Voting started at 8:26 a.m. at the International Press Center polling station. The atmosphere was generally calm as eligible voters trickled in to cast their ballot. All that an eligible voter needed to show was a form of identification. Alexander Poku Akubia is the Electoral Commissioner in charge at the Press Center.
We look on the list whether you are on the final list that has been given to the EC by the Ghana Journalists Association. If your name is on the list, then it means you are passed, then you go on. Then we mark your left inner finger, the cuticle, then to forestall double voting. Then you now go to the ballot issuer. Now we have 5 positions that they are vying for, so we'll give you 5 ballot papers at a go, but we have 5 ballot boxes into which after thumbprinting your preferred candidate, you come and put it in the box, and after that, then you leave the station.
Senior journalist Ben Epson and former GJA president GJA Asiedu-Dartey expressed satisfaction at the process.
If we in the media, we cannot conduct free and fair elections. Who are we to criticize others? So I think that interest has been whipped up in the coming days. So I'm sure that we have one of the highest percentages of turnout. I think 626 people will be voting.
I think that this voting has been taken to another level. In fact, when I came here, I was so pleasantly surprised. And it's like national elections. I'm expecting that there'll be transparency. I'm hoping that by the close of day, all the candidates that will win and those that will lose would have seen that this process was taken to another level, and they will take it in good faith.
She condemned the emergence of splinter groups and called on all journalists to join in strengthening the association.
Well, away from that, a group calling itself Dynamic Youth Movement of Ghana, DEMOC, has dragged Deputy Chiefs of Staff Francis Asensowatche and Samuel Abojinapo to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, for them to be investigated in connection with corruption allegations leveled against them by musician Kwame A+. The petition follows revelations that the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service, which investigated the matter, may have covered up for the 2 presidential staffers. The statement continues that DEMOC is of the firm belief that the emergence of the leaked tape has made it necessary for an independent body to conduct full-fledged investigations into this matter because, 1, the credibility of the Ghana Police Service is in possible tatters so far as the emergence of this tape is concerned. Secondly, the authenticity of the final investigations report released earlier by the CID, which cleared Mr. Asensowatche and Mr. Abojinapo, is in a state of immense and intense incredulity. In the spirit of Articles 218 and 287 of the 1992 Constitution, they hereby petition SHRAJ to investigate and establish the following. 1, whether or not the claims by Mr. Kwame Asariobeng A+ are true, and secondly, whether or not the investigations of the CID of the Ghana Police Service on this matter is a true reflection of what transpired.
Let's attention to other stories this evening as the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, has implored government to scrap the taxes on fuel to reduce the burden on workers and Ghanaians. The union is of the view scrapping the taxes would improve on transparency and assist Ghanaians to pay realistic prices for fuel.
General Secretary of ICU, Solomon Kotei, was reacting to the recent fuel price increase by between 3 and 8%, linked to the recent hurricanes in parts of the world.
The number of taxes that have been fixed in there is what is creating the problems. This toll levy, which is still there, is a result of these heritage levy, which is still there. Every union leader knows that government needs revenue to be able to run, and petroleum is one area where it is easy to get, these monies. But this is also making life so unbearable to the average Ghanaian.
He charged the Sector Minister of Energy, Boache Jako, to explain how government intends to get the price reduced.
The only drop we had was 20 pesos. 20 pesos. That fuel price have dropped. Ever since, what have we been seeing? Now, we use 100 Ghana, and it gives you just 1 gallon. Okay, telling us that we are paying 5 cedis, more or less, for a liter. Okay, even in Europe, they are buying less than half a dollar per liter.
In another development, ICU has called for a dialogue between disgruntled workers of ECG and the Energy Minister. ICU saw the view that the workers should not rush in demanding their severance, but rather allow their national leadership pool to negotiate on their behalf.
If government, and for that matter, the management of ECG, are not telling Ghanaians the truth, because the minister is saying, I have jobs for you, so you are not going. Then that same person says, however, if you want to go, apply and I'll pay it for you. It shouldn't be done that way. Let the employer declare you redundant, and then you can get the real negotiation for a package. But if you apply, whatever is given to you, take it and you go.
Let's now turn our attention back to communications and broadcasting sector. And one of our top stories this evening, as we know, the National Communications Authority has sanctioned 131 FM authorization holders who've been found to have committed various infractions pertaining to their operations. That's as contained in Section 13 of the Electronic Communications Act of 2009, Act 775. And so I'm going to run you by these sanctions and the number of FM stations that have been sanctioned by the NCA. 131 FM authorization holders have been sanctioned in total, and 13 FM authorization holders have been reprieved, meaning their sanctions have either been postponed or cancelled totally. 97 of them have been fined, and these fines range between 50,000 Ghana cedis and 61 million cedis. We know that issues have been raised with regards to this fine and the high cost of it, even by the minority in Parliament. 34 radio stations authorizations have also been revoked, and these names would be coming out throughout the process. And so this clearly shows that these stations have specifically been fined for various reasons, and the move, in fact, follows the completion of the nationwide FM spectrum audit conducted by the NCA. And it's not just FM stations alone, but it's TV as well and digital that are going to be seeing the NCA put together these sanctions for those who are found culpable.
Undoubtedly, the minority in Parliament has described as draconian this move by the NCA, to the effect that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, especially with those ones, radio stations that have had their licenses revoked. But let's still stay with Parliament, because Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, is making a strong case for the establishment of a West African Electoral Commission. The Speaker believes this will assemble one electoral register and bring together experts to deal with challenges which confront elections on the continent.
The Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Aaron Okoye, was speaking at a high-level discussion on governance in Africa. He argued his proposal will further prevent double registration among citizens of member states.
If you had a West African Electoral Commission, the register, which become a bone of contention, can become international. You cannot be on the Cote d'Ivoire register, on the Togo register, and on the Ghana register at the same time. If we had a powerful West Africa Electoral Commission, they themselves become a regulatory body, so that no one person, president or monarch, can do whatever he or she likes.
He cautioned against the signing of mutually beneficial agreements between countries which do not benefit the continent. UNDP Country Director Dr. Lamine Mane urged African leaders to provide a roadmap for governance.
On the governance front, we also have to go back to the drawing board and examine critically the achievements that we have made on the continent, the role of partnerships, and how we could address some of those weaknesses. And I believe that through partnership with the governments and people of Africa, we should be able to address those problems.
Regional Director of the Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, Professor Adebayo Olukoshi, impressed on African leaders to ensure the provision of social interventions that will be attractive to the youth in Africa. The event was on the theme, The Future of Governance in Africa, a new concept of governance, the key to accelerating the prosperity agenda.
The Institute of Democratic Governance has reiterated calls for the opening up of the local governance system to political parties through the election of metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives as well as assembly members. This senior research fellow at the Institute, Dr. Kwesi Jonah, argues would strengthen political parties as development organizations and deal with the recurring threat of violence during the nomination and confirmation of MMDCEs.
Ghana, since 1988, has implemented a comprehensive local governance reform program as an alternative development strategy to centralize development, to promote popular participation, accountability, improved service delivery, and poverty reduction. The Institute for Democratic Governance, since 2013, has been election of the metropolitan, municipal and district chief executive. Positive feedback. Various political parties responded by making local government reforms an important manifesto promise. More significantly, President Akufo-Addo, after his election, has reaffirmed his commitment to the election of MMDCEs and gave a timeline of 2018. IDEC says MMDCEs must not only be elected, but must be elected on party lines, with political parties taking part in the elections.
Our Constitution, Article 55(3), bars political parties from participation in these elections. And so, if you are going to introduce the direct election of MMDCEs, is the only thing that will make a very big difference. Why? Because the Constitution says that as far as possible, we should promote democracy, advance democracy by transferring power to the people. Why should we keep political parties out of local level democracy?
Senior research fellow at the Institute of Democratic Governance says not only must MMDCEs be elected on political party lines, but assembly members as well.
The parties are very silent on this matter. What is the point? You are going to have the Metropolitan Municipal District Chief Executive elected, and he will be working with assembly members whose political identities are not known to him. How would he promote bipartisan, multi-party? You know, he doesn't know the identities of the various political parties. So the other thing we are advocating is that if we are going to elect MMDCs on the ticket of political parties, for heaven's sake, let us also elect the assembly members on the ticket of political parties.
Well, it's been a wet, rainy and cloudy day, but cloudy conditions are actually expected over northern half of the country, where it's scattered also widespread rain with thundery activities are expected over the southern half, especially the middle sector, and places in the eastern coast are expected to have isolated slight rains or drizzle tonight. Few people and also places where, for example, in the northern and upper east regions will also have some thunderstorm activities with moderate rain throughout the night. Tomorrow, the early morning is expected to be cloudy with intermittent slight rain or drizzle in the middle and coastal areas across the country. Tonight is expected to be relatively cool, so you need to enjoy your night. So how the weather will be throughout the night into tomorrow morning.
still live here on News 360. Stay with us because we've got the very latest from the world of business with Nani Kamensa Brampa in a few moments' time.
All right, so it's a Friday and we're wrapping it up all on the business sides for the week. My name is Nanekia Mensah Brampa, and this is still News 360. Time for us to look at the latest in the world of business. Now, Chief Director at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Dawanoma Biaka, has suggested a review of the legal framework to compel businesses in the country to provide the necessary data on request by government. He was speaking in Accra at the launch of the Integrated Business Establishment Survey Phase 2.
The Integrated Business Establishment Survey, IBES, is an economic census conducted on the full set of economic units across all sectors of the Ghanaian economy. It covers the areas of institutional agriculture, services and industry. These economic units include all establishments undertaking any legal activity in Ghana, both private and public. IBES Phase 1 was used to produce a register of businesses in Ghana that will meet the needs of policymakers, other private sector users and researchers. At the launch of the Integrated Business Establishment Survey Phase 2 report, Chief Director of the Ministry of Trade and Industry was of the view that to build a reliable, timely and accurate database, there is the need for individuals and businesses to respond to requests for information.
It's high time that we look at getting some legal document in place that will compel businesses to submit the data. Even though there is one now, I don't think it's strong enough. There must be very serious sanctions if you don't provide information when it's required.
IBES 2 captures non-household information such as name of business, location, output, number of employees and ownership. It also wants to obtain data on production as a basis for government and business analysis and decision-making. Acting government statistician Bawadia indicates the survey results will help in rebasing the economy.
For the first time, we have a lot of data on all non-household establishments in the country, and this should form a basis for decision-making concerning businesses. It also gives us a lot of indicators and data for rebasing the Ghana's GDP, for rebasing the producer price index.
The survey findings shows that the service sector has become the driving force of the economy, providing 7 out of 10 outputs to households. The survey, among other things, recommended an implementation of a strategic plan specifically for firms in the industry sector, since it has forward and backward linkages. IBES project coordinator of the Ghana Statistical Service, Anthony Kakra, believes the survey provides some answers to policymakers.
Industry, especially manufacturing, is not doing well over the period. And for every economy, if manufacturing survives and does well, the economy is robust and can withstand shocks. The cost of production was high for manufacturing. And so if government to help manufacturing.
All right, now let's look at what's new, what's happening with some organizations in the country, beginning from the banking sector. First Bank of Nigeria to Ghana, FBN Bank Ghana, has commissioned its ultra-modern head office and airport branch in Accra. The managing director of the bank, Gbenga Odeyemi, said it has become imperative to invest in one office edifice to bring all essential functions under one umbrella.
FBN Bank Ghana Limited is a subsidiary of First Bank of Nigeria Limited, Sub-Saharan Africa's premier banking brand. Formerly the International Commercial Bank, it commenced operations in Ghana in November 1996. Following the acquisition of 100% equity stake in the West Africa operations of ICB by First Bank of Nigeria in 2013, and upon the approval of the Bank of Ghana, the name of the bank was changed to FBN Bank Ghana Limited. The managing director, Gbenga Odeyemi, noted banking is about creative ideas needs and expressed its commitment to doing business in Ghana.
As we grew and expanded, that invest in this edifice where we bring all our essential functions under one umbrella, and more importantly, demonstrate our commitment to doing business in Ghana.
The Managing Director of First Bank of Nigeria Limited and subsidiaries, Dr. Adesola Adeduntan, said opening of the new head office and airport branch is a testimony to long-term commitment.
The opening of this new head office building is a testament to our long-term commitment and a sign of our pledge to deliver innovative banking powered by superior customer experiences, first to our customers and to the entire banking industry as a whole.
The Director of Banking Supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Edmond Salami, reminded boards and management of banks of the December 2018 deadline to comply with the new capital requirement.
And on to telecommunication. Vodafone Ghana and China Europe International Business School have jointly launched the Vodafone Ghana SME Masterclass in Accra. The initiative is part of the telecommunication company's commitment at ensuring SMEs become successful.
SMEs are the nerve center of most economies within the West African sub-region. However, they lack support, education and technological know-how to keep up with the dynamic business environment. Director for the Enterprise Business Unit and Wholesale at Vodafone Ghana, Angela Mensah-Poku, expressed the company's resolve to support and empower more businesses.
Bookkeeping, how to market yourselves globally. These are things that SME businesses don't necessarily think about, but these are the things that will propel them and amplify them into the global digital world. We're here to support you for the long term, and we look forward to making sure that you're a ready business.
50 participants will be taken through key modules on corporate governance, innovation and entrepreneurship growth, and social media.
Information flow and business activities are moving, and every time you have to at least be abreast with everything that is happening. At the end of the day, I can move my company to the limelight and also perform to the higher level.
There is a section in there which is on employee retention, and since I'm the HR, I'm hoping to gain more knowledge on that so that employee turnover in our company will reduce.
The executive director strong market even before seeking financial assistance.
I think the biggest challenge SMEs face is actually to then design a
The Vodafone SME Masterclass officially commences on September 30. Beneficiaries are expected to be equipped to compete on the international level and be able to exploit fully the modern digital trends and platforms for their businesses within 3 months.
And there's more news on 3news.com. That's it for business tonight. My name is Nanekia Mensah-Bampa. When we return, there's more sports, international as well as entertainment. Good evening.
Now, before the health sector, health experts say without surgical operation, about 30% of children in Ghana will die before their 5th birthday from hole in heart. This was revealed by Dr. Lawrence Strebo, who's the director of the National Cardiothoracic Center, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, at the Casa Preco Awake Purifying One for Life project in commemoration of World Heart Day.
World Heart Day is marked on September 29 each year across the globe to highlight interventions against cardiovascular diseases. This year, Awake Purified Water from Casa Preco through its One for Life project donated 75,000 cedis as its corporate social responsibility from proceeds of its sales to the National Cardiothoracic Center of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. The event was also used as an occasion to sensitize the public on simple ways to protect the heart. Director of the National Cardiothoracic Center, of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Lawrence Srebo, advised the public to take delight in physical activities to improve their heart health.
You only need to meet a mother who had no hope, a family that was devastated because a member of the family has been told that they will need heart surgery. It's beyond the means of most people. And if you see the joy, if you see the relief, if you see the response when they hear that somebody has come to their rescue, you get goose pimples.
Brand manager for Kasapreko Purified Water and Beverages, Chris Sarkodie, assured the Center of continual support to aid patients at the National Cardiothoracic Center.
We have people sometimes coming in with reports via Facebook, our social media platforms. Others also write to us, and most of them, they actually go straight to the hospital. There's no specific criteria, no, and it's for everybody. I mean, provided you are a Ghanaian or provided you are
help patients who undergo heart surgeries. The company donated 1 pesewa for every small bottle of awake water bought and 2 pesewas for the big bottle of awake water purchased to the center to support needy patients.
Thierry Nyan is coming up with all news in the world of sports.
It's time for us to bring you all the latest in the world of sports. My name is Thierry Nyan. Thanks for joining me right here on News 360. Now, Accra Hearts of Folk central defender Vincent Atinga says he's excited about his invitation to the Black Stars, to help prepare for the 2019 World Cup qualifying game against Uganda. The Hearts of Folk centre-back has been instrumental for the Phobians and recently demonstrated his qualities in Ghana's triumphant display in the WAFU Championships.
I feel good and I feel so delighted because as a player you need to save your motherland. So when they called me, I said, well, it's a great opportunity for me and it's a privilege for me to play the national team. What I would say is time and destiny will tell. I was in the club playing for the club before I went for the national assignment, so there's no pressure on me.
All right, so the man is excited about his call-up to the senior national team. So what has the head coach of the Black Stars been up to? He's out giving back to society. Coach Kwesi Appiah has donated items to Africa Widows and Widowers Foundation in Accra ahead of Ghana's all-important World Cup qualifying game against Uganda.
Coach of the Black Stars, Kwesi Appiah, on Friday donated bags of rice, boxes of oil and Voltic mineral water to the Africa Widows and Widowers Foundation located in Nima, a suburb of Accra. The items, estimated at a cost of 10,000 Ghana cedis, was part of Appiah's social responsibility to render his unflinching support to the less privileged in society. Donating the items, Appiah stressed the need to support the destitute in society. This was his first step at supporting widows and widowers in the country, but according to the Black Stars head coach, he'll be doing a similar thing in the Brongahavu region after the Ghana-Uganda game next month. The secretary of the foundation, Abdul Razak Issa, thanked the coach for his immense support towards the foundation and for Coach Kwesi Appiah putting smiles on the faces of the widows and the widowers. He called on other individuals with a motive as Kwesi Appiah to render their support to the foundation.
All right, so now let's return to club football. And Accra Hearts of Folk head coach Frank Nuttall is confident of progressing to the finals of this year's MTN FA Cup. Remember, his side play in the semi-final. The Phobians will take on the Ghana Premier League champions, Wild Stars, in a semi-final encounter at the Boasilin Clay Stadium on Sunday.
Clay Sports Stadium this in what should be a feisty encounter. Hearts of Oak edged out second-tier side Danbot FC in the quarter-final stage in Accra, whilst Wa All Stars overcame Brekum Chelsea to progress to this stage. The Phobians, who had their players dazzle many at the WAFU Cup of Nations, will have all the feel-good factor going into this one. Head coach of the side, Frank Nuttall, is confident his team is well prepared to face the War Giants in the competition.
Our fans can expect the same as usual. A group of players that will be very focused and very motivated to try to win the game. So nothing changes. Whilst our 5 players have been away with the local Black Stars, the rest of the players have been working very well and very hard.
FA Cup, and captain Thomas Abe, who tops the Ghanaian scoring chart, insists the team is poised to book a place in the final of the competition.
I think the way we perform in the WAFO tournament, our supporters will expect more for us. So we are ready for that on Sunday. We'll meet them on the league and we score them. So, and semi-finals game is always different from the league. So the mentality of the
trophy dark of 7 years, but have stiff opposition from a WA All-Star side vowing to atone for their dismal league title defense campaign for the FA Cup trophy. All semi-final clashes will be honored on the same day, dubbed Super Sunday, come October 1st, 2017.
All right, so, Accra Hearts of Oak will be facing Wild Stars, but the full fixtures when it comes to the MTN FA Cup is exactly like this. Hearts of Oak versus Wild Stars in that first encounter, and then Kumasi Asante Kotoko will also be coming up against Mediema Sporting Club, and that game will be at the Bayara Stadium. So it tells you this is a very, very crucial encounter between these 4 sides, and the winners of these games are going to be marching on to the finals of the competition. Mediema, remember, some winners, Asante Kotoko themselves have won it before. Accra Hearts of Oak and Wild Stars will be looking to repeat the feat. Let's move on from here then. Let's go straight to the English Premier League, because there are some crunching games you should be expecting this weekend. Chelsea versus Manchester City is a top liner. Everyone is looking forward to that game because of some permutations in there will get you all of that subsequently. But Huddersfield will begin this campaign on, of course, this match day 7 with Tottenham Hotspur. Bournemouth will face Leicester City. Crystal Palace will travel to Old Trafford to face Manchester United. Romelu Lukaku should have some goodies for them. Southampton against Stoke City. West Bromwich Albion will be coming up against Watford. And then going on, like I said, Chelsea will be coming up against Manchester City, and that would be a late kickoff on Saturday. Chelsea are the champions. Manchester City are the current leaders. And of course, the most informed team. They've scored 16 goals in the last 3 games. It tells you what Pep Guardiola's side is out. There are Jordan and his senior brother Andre. And then on Sunday, Arsenal will face Brighton Hove Albion. Burnley will come up against Everton, and then Newcastle United will also face Liverpool. These are the fixtures when it comes to the English Premier League. Like I was telling you, Sergio Kun Aguero is out for about 2 months because of a car accident he was involved in yesterday. Benjamin Mendy will be out until April. It tells you Pep Guardiola has got some problems to deal with. That's exactly where we bring an end to the sports bulletin right here on News 360. My name is Thierry Nyan. Thanks for joining me.